Sometimes a little change is good, no? It gives you the opportunity to move ahead in life, to grow and discover, to reach new bolder milestones, while still holding true to everything you stand for.
IDBI Federal has now changed to AGS Federal. It's the same old company, but with a bold new outlook.
मुंबई में बैठ के कोलकाता से गुड़ का रसगुल्ला, आहा, यही तो जीवन।
जस्ट माई रूट्स, लालच को पंख लगाओ, किसी भी शहर से खाना मंगाओ।
It's Dickov again! Can you believe it? Denied once by his best man, but this time Dickov comes out on top, and from 2-0 down, Manchester City have drawn it level. Well, what is it about Manchester? This is unbelievable. I've watched the great rivals come back from the dead, and have City just come back from the dead.
Hello and welcome to this very special episode of Backstage with Boria here at Manchester City with Paul Dickov. Just do something. As you watch this broadcast, go and watch that goal in the Wembley Stadium, ManCity 2 down. No one knows what's going to happen. Top of the box, right top end corner, off the right net. One of the greatest goals in the history of Manchester City, and you will know this man who I'm talking about. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining me.
No, thanks for having me.
You know, I was watching that goal again, and before I come to the present, tell me what that goal still means to you.
That means, first and foremost, I was a very lucky boy, you know, to be able to play at Wembley. It was always my dream to play at Wembley as a young boy. To score at Wembley, being a striker throughout my career, but what it meant to the club and what it meant to me and the fans, more importantly at that time, you know, for the people who don't know, the club had dropped to the lowest depths in the history. We were sort of, to explain it now, two divisions below the Premier League, and it was imperative that we got out of the league, and it was a playoff final. We're 2-0 down in 89 minutes. Kevin Horlock scored to make it 2-1, and you know, I scored the equaliser in the 95th minute, and then we went on to winning penalties, and the club's never really looked back since.
Correct. And in 2005 it was rated as one of the best goals ever for the club.
Yeah, it is, and it's very special to me. You know, I do remind people that there were another 10 players on the pitch that day, because I tend to get a lot of the credit for it, but the circumstances, and as I said, what it meant to the club, what it meant to the fans, what it meant to us as players, and what it meant to me personally, you know, I'm really privileged to have scored the goal, and delighted to see the club where it was then, but to see the club where it is now, and it's just nice to have played a small part in that.
So that was the next question. From there to now, under Pep Guardiola in the last 5-6 years, 4 titles, Champions League, Premiership, all of us in India, like, what's going on? Manchester City everywhere. Talk to me. What's the last few years?
Yeah, look, if you'd said to us 20 years ago that City would be in this position, a fantastic stadium, best training facilities in the world, but winning the Premier Leagues, competing at the top end of the Champions League, you would have said you were crazy, you know. But to see it now, and the owners have got to take so much credit with what they've done since they came in 2008, completely transformed the club. Obviously winning on the pitch is fantastic, but what they've done in the community here in Manchester, what they're doing in the community all over the world, it's fantastic to see. And As I say, the people I'm the most happy for is the fans, you know, because go back to that game in 1999 when the club weren't in a great position, the fans really stood by the players, stood by the club. And to see the fans now back then, to see them celebrating winning Premier Leagues, competing at the top end of the Champions League, it's an amazing thing to see. And
interesting you say that. I was coming here, I want to put it on record, as I landed in Manchester Piccadilly station, got into my taxi, and the taxi driver asked me, where are you going? And I said, you know, to film at ManCity, and I said with Paul Dickov, and he said, I was there at Wembley, tell him I was there at Wembley, and I realized what it means to the fans. So when you mentioned the fans, just tell me, how important are they? And given the performance of the last few years, talk to me a little bit more about the fans.
They're the heart and soul of the football club. You know, in any football club, but especially Manchester City, the fans are so important. You know, players come and go, managers come and go, sometimes ownership comes and goes. The one set of people that really stick by football clubs through thick and thin is the fans, but especially the Manchester City fans. And you know, and I say it all the time, and forgive me for repeating myself, to see the fans having the success that they're having now. You know, when we were in the old Division 2 in 1999, Main Road, the old stadium, the capacity was 33,000, and we were getting 33,000 fans every single week. And the club had, as I said, it had dropped to its lowest point. A lot of fans, majority of clubs, they wouldn't get that support, you know, but the fans really backed the players, backed the club, were desperate for success. And success back then was winning a playoff final in Division 2. Success now is competing at the top end of the Champions League. 3 Premier League titles out of the last 4 years. Blowing teams away with the football that they play. Best manager in the world, best players in the world. It's just, you know, I've got to pinch myself sometimes because it's a fantastic thing to see, and to be part of the club and still work for the club. You know, the club, Manchester City, don't forget its former players. Whether it's Mike Summerby, Colin Bell, going back all the years, whether it's the generation of '99 or whether it's the last few years since they've been in. And you know, I keep saying it, Manchester City, they've got the heart and soul of the club there.
You mentioned the manager and the best in the world. I mean, a lot of us in India are huge Pep Guardiola fans, and a lot of people who are watching this will want you to speak a little bit more about Pep Guardiola. All yours.
He's just sensational. That's the only way I can put it. You know, I've been really fortunate enough, still involved with the club, to have watched Pep train the players, been away in pre-season tours and seen it up close, and it blows your mind. It just literally blows your mind. You know, he's super intense, super focused. And the biggest compliment I can sort of pay to Pep is, I look at footballers nowadays, in Premier League squads. I've got 25 players. Manchester City, I've got 25 world-class players. Now, sometimes within that can come 25 big egos as well.
Yes.
Because they're all world-class players at the top of their game, and it's a natural thing. But there's no egos with Pep. They hang off his every single word. If you watch a training session, you've got your Kevin De Bruyne, you go back to Vincent Kompany, David Silva, Sergio Aguero, all these wonderful players that we've had over the last few years since Pep's been in here. Every single one of them has improved under Pep. You know, you look at, I've just said Kompany, Aguero, De Bruyne, David Silva. You could go on and list these wonderful players who were already world-class players when Pep came in, but he's took them to a different level, which I thought was, which I thought De Bruyne couldn't have got any better than what he did 3-4 years ago. You look at him at the end of last season, for me, he was the best player in the world towards the end of the season. You know, and to manage the egos the way he does and get them to perform week in, week out over the years that Pep's been in here is a massive feat in itself, because I've been on both sides of it as a player, I've been as a manager, and sometimes when a manager's there for a long spell, it's the same voice all the time, and you hear the same things. It's difficult to get motivated to do it because it's a little bit monotonous. So for Pep to keep that up there with these egos, with these world-class players, and to perform the way they play, the style of football, how they are without the ball, how hard they work as a team, it's just sensational. And for me, there's no doubt about it, he's the best coach in the world.
So just one more as a follow-up. I mean, has he evolved as well? Because you've seen him close, you've seen him train, you've seen him perform over the 6 years with the best in the world, managing humongous egos, because each is a superstar. Has he evolved as well as a coach? And
He has, and sometimes people from the outside don't see that. They watch how we play and the style of football that we play. he makes little tweaks in every single game to win the game. You know, the style that they've got is there as a leveller, but he sees things in the games that nobody else sees. He'll move Kevin De Bruyne from a central midfield position to play a number 10. People don't quite see that makes the difference in the games. And this, as I keep saying it, to keep that amount of players happy even when they're not playing and get them to perform when they come in, that in itself is genius, because it's so difficult to do. And people think Pep has got one way of playing. He's not. He changes it around all the time. The opposition are always thinking, what can we do? How do we? It must be a nightmare for an opposition manager to play against a Pep team, because you don't know whether to press them, whether to set off, and whatever way the opposition plays, he finds a way to make it work.
And you know, just moving away a little bit, I'll come back to the team again. But when we follow the club, you know, from a distance in India, and I see a Sergio Aguero statue, a David Silva statue, and I'm like, this is how you reward your legends, you remember your legends. I was watching this ManCity video with Fernandinho, I mean, and he says, which will come, and you know, this is how you celebrate somebody. It's fantastic for me. I mean, this is a lesson for anyone to celebrate your heroes. Talk to me about it.
It's amazing. You know, go back, Mike Summerby, you know, who's the club's ambassador now. He's here every single game. Colin Bell, the main stand at the Etihad's named after him. So it's not just recent years. You know, the club have got a fantastic way of remembering, but thanking the former players as well. You know, the statues of Vincent, David Silva, Sergio Aguero. It's just something I don't think other clubs would do.
Correct.
You know, the owners are fantastic in remembering the history of the club. You know, a lot of people, you know, when I travel abroad with the club, they tend to think that Manchester City started in 2008 when the new owners came in, and it would have been very easy for the owners to go along with that, but they've dug in deeper to that. They know about the history of the club. They want to reward the history of the club, and by giving the statues and remembering not just the players we've mentioned, all the former players. You know, you come here on a match day, there must be 5, 6, 7, 8 former players that are in the club doing different bits and pieces, and it's just lovely. It's a lovely way to keep everybody, because look, the club's on a different stratosphere from when I played, but the owners have made sure that the heart and soul of the club has always been there, and as I say, there's not many clubs that would do that.
New signing, everyone's talking about Haaland.
Yeah, well, I was quite close to it actually. So Erling's dad, Alfie, I played with him, my teammate for 2 years.
Oh wow!
So over the last couple of years, every time I've been messaging him trying to find out what was happening. So I had a little bit of inside knowledge that he was coming, but for me, it's a sensational signing. You know, he's only 21. His goal record already is phenomenal, and people say, is he the missing part of the jigsaw? I find that difficult to say, because we've just won the league again. You know, scoring 99 goals last season without a number 9, without a striker. But for Erling to come in, you know, he's got the physical attributes, he's got the mentality. He's a really humble guy, first and foremost, which I think's really important. But I wouldn't expect anything less, because I know his dad. But he scores all sorts of goals. You know, he's quick, left foot, right foot, outside the box, inside the box, headers. For me, already at 21, he is the best number 9 in the world.
That's a big statement.
A huge statement, but I genuinely believe that. What he'd done at Dortmund at a young age is just unbelievable. And now under the guidance of Pep, the coaching of Pep, he's going to get better and better and better. The service he's going to get from Mahrez, from De Bruyne, from Foden, you know, Jack Grealish, Ilkay, all these wonderful technicians we've got in the team that's going to be supplying them. You know, it's going to be scary for everybody else in the Premier League.
I mean, all of us are excited, just the names that you said, De Bruyne and Grealish and Mahrez. But just moving away a little bit, Paul, I mean, you've been to India. You've been to India many times, is what my friend Carlos tells me. Indian football with ISL and Mumbai City FC winning the title there. Your thoughts on Indian football? How much does it matter because of this partnership? Yeah,
look, first and foremost, I'm not just saying this because I'm talking to you guys here. India is my favourite place in the world. I've been fortunate enough with the club to travel China, all over the world. They've got different clubs, but India is always my favourite place. The people are fantastic. The one thing that blew me away the very first time I went to a fan event in Bangalore. And I was on the flight going over, and I'm thinking to myself, and I'm being honest here, I'm thinking, what are the Indian fans going to know about football? because obviously from the outside it's cricket everywhere. What are they going to know about Manchester City? They're not going to have a clue who I am. And as soon as I walked off the plane and got through the airport, the reception I got was unbelievable. You know, the fans are fanatical, absolutely fanatical.
We grew up on football in
Calcutta. Absolutely. And whether it's been in Bangalore, whether it's been Delhi, whether it's been Pune, all the places I've been, Mumbai, obviously, in Mumbai City, the reception you get, the people are just the friendliest people in the world. But
you did the trophy tour, which was great as well?
It was fantastic, and it was great. It was fantastic for the club, you know, because I speak to a lot of the fans in India, and you know, the general consensus is that they love Manchester City, they live it 24/7.
Yeah.
But they'll probably 1%, if that, will get the chance to come to the Etihad.
True.
So for Manchester City to take the trophy to them and show Manchester City's thanks for their support was an amazing thing to do. And as I said, that whether it's been a fan event, whether it's been a match screening, whether it's been a partner event, whether it's been trophy tour, the Indian fans just blow me away. You know, their knowledge of football, their knowledge of the Premier League, their knowledge of Manchester City is second to none. Second to none.
I mean, the EPL is maybe the second most watched after the IPL in India. I mean, all of us consume almost every game, and it's like second habit. Just like you said, we love our football, and obviously we want India to improve. But City, I mean, over the last few years, the kind of love I have seen grow for City, again, Pep is responsible for that, is amazing. Last few questions, Paul, before I let you go. One, going into a premiership this time, you've already won 3 in the last 4. Tremendous pressure. How do you look at it? I mean, where's the bar? I mean, how much can you keep pushing?
I don't think you can raise the bar high enough for this manager, for this team. They thrive on success, they thrive on the pressure, they want to be the best. When you've got the best players in the world, and I genuinely believe the likes of Kevin De Bruyne are, they want to be the best player on the pitch. They want to let everybody see. They want to win trophies. And as I said, that Manchester City will be better again this season. You know, obviously the last couple of years it's been like that with Liverpool. You've got to give Liverpool credit as well. Every other club's going to strengthen. But I just look at Manchester City squad, and not just the 1 to 11. I look at the whole squad, and for me it's the best. It's the best, most talented squad in the world. They will want to win the Premier League again. They will want to win every single trophy that's out there. People talk about managers in the Premier League prioritising what trophy, whether it be the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup. You look at Pep's teams, he plays his strongest team because he wants to win every single game and win every single trophy. Obviously, the big thing everybody talks about is the Champions League. We're getting closer and closer and closer all the time.
Yeah, even this time was...
I don't even talk to her about that. I've not even watched that game back. But they're there. For me, as I say, they are not just the best team in the Premier League, not just the best team in Europe. I think Manchester City squad as a whole is the best in the world.
Last one. Message for the fans back home watching this, clearly will support Manchester City more. But to see it, I mean, this is on Indian TV, on Indian digital. You know, what India means to you, obviously the words were great, but a word for your fans.
Yeah, look, say it again, the most fanatical, the most knowledgeable, the most friendliest fans I've ever met, and I look forward to come over and seeing you all soon.
So there you have it, Paul Dickov on Manchester City, Premiership, Pep Guardiola, the squad, and of course the new signing, extremely exciting. That's all I have on this episode of Backstage with Boria from here in Manchester, in the Manchester City precinct, if I can call it. Plenty to show you. We've got to do a tour of the Etihad and of course show you a lot more. So keep watching this space for more.